My name is Ben Kinney. I'm publisher of Business North Carolina magazine. For 40 plus years have been covering the state and its economy and the people that make up businesses in the state. And it's really cool hearing your stories, and I really look at sharing with our readers.
And right now, we are at 860 life sciences companies spread across North Carolina with 76,000 people directly employed by those companies. There are 2,500 support organizations, which employ about another 180 to 200,000 people. So well over 250,000 people make their living in North Carolina because of this growing life sciences industry. It's been very successful in bringing money in from overseas. We have 124 bioscience companies that have onshored into the state. They employ 20,000 people directly, representing 26 countries, and over $15 billion invested in the state since 2015. So that's a great accomplishment for the industry as a whole and for the state, working together, attracting companies that say, we would rather be in North Carolina than somewhere else. As an industry, it is the second largest industry in the state at about $88 billion a year.
Our goal is to get those discoveries that we make out into the world, however we can. We have incredible data assets at UNC, and AI and the AI revolution has, it's nothing without the talent and the data, to ask the right questions and do the right analyses. All of the, recent increase in attention and support for AI has catalyzed a lot of really exciting work, because the bottleneck is not the ideas, the bottleneck is getting those ideas out. We've been doing a tremendous amount of collaborative work that brings together people who are content or subject matter experts along with AI technicians, so that we can create a number of platforms for discovery and ways that we can speed, all range of drug discovery, clinical trials, the whole pipeline. And so for us, that's a real area of excitement and a strong strategic push for us. It falls in line with the presidential administration and their investment in science and technology through Genesis Mission, which is very focused on AI and funding AI. And so we are readying, all of us, RTI, Duke, NC State, we're all thinking about, how do we do more in our region with AI as applied to biotech.
And I think this all starts to come back is an awareness program. I mean, even people in the state of North Carolina don't necessarily realize the real value of what is sitting here.
Right.
And I think that's, a little bit on us. We spend time talking to each other in the bubble, and we spend time talking to our legislators. We spent,
Right.
I was in DC this week at a program around National Security Commission on Emerging Biotechnology in a state symposium. And part of the discussion was on bioliteracy and who are we trying to inform? And so it is coming down to informing students, because we want folks to go into the sciences. STEM education is very important. Knowing that there's opportunities in the life sciences space is important. But we need legislators to understand that and to make sure that we are putting the right resources and that they're following the science. I think we have a lot of misinformation out now, and wellness influencers and the rest, and sort of who's driving that scientific discussion. And then we have just, again, the general populace. So I think telling these stories, and so I think that's one of maybe the advantages of Business North Carolina. It's getting to other people that are in business across the state, but it's getting to people that aren't necessarily in the life sciences. And so hopefully it is an avenue for them to learn something about what we're doing, because it is vitally important.
I moved to North Carolina about a year and a half ago, right? So, and I never realized how much the collaboration is. And I worked in the US in a couple of states, in Massachusetts and California, some of the big biotech centers, right? But when I moved to Biogen and an RTP area is when I realized how much collaboration between university and policymakers and the industry is. I don't think I realized that before I moved here. Like most in Massachusetts, as well as a lot of university collaboration with industry that happens, but the amount of the policymakers that come to Biogen that try to understand what are our challenges in moving ahead, right? In investing more, like in the last year and a half I've been here, we've had numerous times when there were either governors or senators who come visited us, try to understand, hey, what are your challenges? How can we help you here, right? I think I've not seen that much level of collaboration, and even the universities, right? Yes, we go there to recruit, but how much collaboration happens here is not something I've seen in some of the other states. I think that's something that for me is very unique. It helps, and I mean, even in the employees that we have, I don't have the exact numbers, but just by guessing from their background, 70 to 80% of them have gone to college here, right? And that's a big piece of that's something that I'm learning as in my day-to-day life, is like I didn't realize this until I moved here, right? How much collaboration, how these things come together. So some of those are the things I feel like that's what sets up North Carolina a little bit ahead of some of the other states.
But I think the other thing that we need to keep in mind that kind of is why North Carolina is such a case study for other regions and countries around the world is really it's not just the collaborations, it's also conviction and commitment.
Yep.
Right. So there was conviction that this is a way to kind of chart a healthier path forward for RTI, or for North Carolina when it comes to economic vitality. And then on top of that, once that conviction was present, there was a commitment, a long-term commitment that was made by business, government, and university leadership across the state.
Right.
And so what we have now is 60 plus sustained years of actual conviction and commitment.
Yep.
So it's not just the collaboration, but I think equally as important is the sense that this was an economic and social imperative.
When you're setting up and running a large pharmaceutical plant, you need workforces from different sectors and different places of capability and experience. And North Carolina offers, I think, every layer right where the companies need them. At one layer is engineers and scientists and degreed bachelor's, master's, PhD level candidates. So when Lilly came to North Carolina and set up shop here, over 98% of the people we hired were from North Carolina. We had no concerns, no problem. That was our plan, and it worked out that way. And from the universities that we support, we have great relationships with all of them through an internship experience, and that's thriving, healthy through the BTech relationship we have with NC State, and internships there are a great route. And then at the layer we call our makers of medicine, folks that are on shift 24/7, doing it with safety and quality. That population is probably our largest population through the Bioworks and other programs. It's a great channel. The thing that I would actually flag the most, I'm so impressed by the community college. It is great, and not that is it just a cultivating population there, but they're so willing. We have a great relationship with Wake Tech and Durham Tech at our site, and when we have a need, they respond to the call to action. It's so impressive. The community colleges are coming to us and saying, what can we invest in today to prepare you for tomorrow? And that is fantastic.